All right, for those of you out there thinking that van life is all fun and games and adventure and the freedom to just go and do, today I'm going to share with you the not so fun part of van life. Matter of fact, it actually stinks. Alright, so I have the Nature's Head toilet, and I'm going to show you what all is involved in getting it cleaned out. I'm going to show you the products that I use and the product that I tried to use and I didn't like, and just the whole process and everything involved in cleaning out the Nature's Head toilet. I'm going to show you a design flaw with the Nature's Head toilet that creates issues for me all the time. It actually hurts. So let's get started with the products and the preparation of the product to refill the composting part of the toilet. Alright, so let's talk about the products that you use for the composting part of the toilet first. I started out using this coconut pith. It's actually like people use it for gardening and stuff like that, plants. It's a brick, and you have to break this down, and it's a process to get it broke down. So after I used a box of this, I thought, well, I'm going to try the peat moss. And the peat moss just comes in a big bag, and it's kind of just like a stringy type material. And the reason why I hated this, I literally put it in there, went out for a weekend trip. When I got home, I completely cleaned this out of my toilet. And the reason why I did is because I felt like it just got tangled up on, there's a rotary thing in there. What do you call that? It's a, it spins and it mixes up the compost. This just, it's so stringy. It just kept getting tangled up in that bar. And I'll show you what I'm talking about whenever I clean out the toilet. But, hated it. So ever since then, I've been using these bricks, and although it's a process and it takes quite a long time, it really does work out the best. The odor is controlled tremendously with these. Now, every person, their bowel pattern's different. So depending on your bowel pattern, you have to use a drier consistency. It's so weird to talk about this. But so anyway, I'm gonna break a couple of these down so that we can exchange it out. I'm gonna show you the process. I'm gonna time how long it takes me to do this, because without a doubt, it's the hardest part of cleaning out the toilet. So let's get started. You can see I've got it all kind of busted down in little chunks. I've been hacking at it for about 15 minutes. And so this consistency is not enough. You gotta break it down more. It's gotta be a powder with none of these clumps in there. So be ready to kind of work at it for a little while. You can add your little bit of water and let it sit and see if it, maybe it'll break down faster for you once you get around to it. But I find just hacking away at it, getting it all done at one time is just my way of doing it, because then I can move on to better things. I don't want to get distracted. So you can see it's turning into a really nice powder. I've got it about the consistency that I want it, the wetness that I want it. I just got to bust up all these little dry little pieces. Alright, so here we go. An hour and 4 minutes later. 2 of the bricks busted up. There's only a couple small little pieces in there. And look at that. This is 1 brick, man. That almost fills up this collapsible bucket. These collapsible buckets are awesome to have with you in van life. I'm kind of making a little bit of a mess here. So let's start breaking down the toilet. Take the vent hose off, turn the fan off. This comes up, lift this up, and then slide it over, and then that comes off like that. So now you just have your toilet. Okay, so I've got the top off, the pee bucket off. We're gonna unscrew this on both sides, and this whole thing is going to lift out of there. There you go. Take those off, and then this lifts straight out of there. Easy, easy, smoothie. All right, so we have that all cleaned out, good as new. Got the 2 bolts back in. One of the things that I wanted to show you, see, you spin that handle, and when you reach down there to spin it, you clip your arm on this thing right here, sometimes this thing. So that I get it that it has to be there, but you got to be real careful, because this thing has tore my arm up a couple of times, so be careful. All right, guys, there are very few people that would probably do this, but since I'm a nurse and you really probably are curious, let's take a look at how much it composts. All right, I got my glove. I got my toilet all cleaned out, and it is air drying because I sprayed it down a little bit. And so I've got my compost here. You can tell one's darker than the other. This one is that dry compost that I just busted up, okay? See, it's, you know, like a powder, see that? This one is actually the one that's been in there for a while. And as you can see, it's just a dry compost as well. So, you know, does it compost? People say, oh, you know, I don't think I could do that. It doesn't really compost. Look at, I mean, this is not, I'm gonna quit playing in that. So that really broke that down into a nice, it's just a darker powder. So, not bad. So, sorry guys, but people gotta know. All right, I'm putting that composting material back in there now. I think I might have put too much in there. Another job done. I am a sweaty mess. As you can tell, it took a couple hours because it takes so long to grind that up. So about an hour and a half probably total. And we're all back together. We're all nice and clean. That'll last me a good, I only have to do that like once a month. It really depends on how often you're using your toilet, because sometimes you go into, you know, you go at work, you go on the rest stop. Now the urine part of it, that bucket, I find that I dump that more frequently than not. I don't like that to fill up because that starts to smell. And Kelly actually read somewhere, and it was a very good tip, it works great, is to take white vinegar and baking soda, mix them together like a half a cup and a half a cup, not even a half a cup of baking soda, but mix them together in the urine container, because that cleans that out. Leave that in there because it also eliminates the odor. Here's a tip. Do not pour your vinegar in a cup and add baking soda to it, because it will be everywhere. I'm not saying I did that, but it is 100% correct. It will bubble up and go everywhere, and you're going to have to start all over. So put your powder in there or your vinegar in there, and then add the other one. Shake it up real good, clean that toilet up real good, and then you're good to go until it's time to dump it. So that can, if you do it every time you dump it, it can be costly. I promise you it's going to cut down tremendously on the odor. And the other thing about the Nature's Head toilet is, the reason why it works so good is it separates number 1 and number 2. So depending on, if you've got little kids and they end up, and they're real small, little kids, and they use that toilet, their number 2 is not necessarily going to go in the number 2 slot. And vice versa. If urine gets in the back where the composting part is, you're going to have that smell. You're going to have odor. So you really have, like, who's it for? Who's all going to be using it? It's not for everyone. Would I buy this one again in another build? Honestly, I'm still trying to dial it in perfectly. Between diet and just cleaning it, I'm still using it. I'm still testing it out. So far I like it. I like the concept of it, and I definitely like that I don't have to take that cassette places and dump it, because I take that urine jug and I put it in a bag and I take it in with me, and it's already like, oh, I wonder if people know what I'm doing. You got to get used to that kind of thing. So anyway, so there's the breakdown, the cleaning of my Nature's Head toilet. It's a pretty disgusting job, but it comes with van life. If you're soloing van life, then it's on you. So I'm done. I'm going to clean up this mess. I'm going to grill a burger later on, and we're going to enjoy the evening. Thanks for following along. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys on the next video.